So I'd love to introduce Brad. Brad Yates is known internationally for his creative and often humorous use of the emotional freedom techniques, EFT. Brad is the author of the best-selling children's book, The Wizard's Wish, the co-author of the bestseller Freedom at Your Fingertips, and a featured expert in the film The Tapping Solution. He's also been a presenter at a number of events, including Jack Canfield's Breakthrough to Success, has done teleseminars, The Secret Stars, Bob Doyle and Dr. Joe Vitale, and has been heard internationally on a number of internet radio talk shows. Brad also has over 1,000 videos on YouTube and that have been viewed over 38 million times. And of course, more info is available at www.tapwithbrad. I know for myself, having experienced him in the way that I did back in a couple years ago, it was very, very transformative to tap along with him. So without further ado, let me bring Brad on. And thank you so much for being a part of this, Brad. Really appreciate you being here.
My pleasure, Sandra. Thank you so much for having me. Very, very happy to be here. And thank you for all the kind comments in the chat box.
No stoking the ego there, is there?
I had a friend once who said they were in some place where a lot of people were saying really nice things. And she goes, how do you keep that from going to your head? It's like, I tap on my face for a living,
Beautiful.
It's very humbling.
Exactly. So I'm going to literally give the floor to you, Brad. This next however much time you've got available is yours. So I'll let you flow with that. It's not an interview type of way. So I'm actually opening up to you, and I've seen you do this before, where you've just kind of opened up to what wants to come through. So I give the floor to you. Thank you.
All right, absolutely. Thank you so much, Sandra. Thank you to everyone being here. I see from the comments a lot of people are familiar with EFT and with my work. That's awesome. Thank you. Just in case there is anybody who has shown up here for this event and says, "What is tapping?" As I just a moment ago said, "Yeah, I tap on my face for a living." Some people might be like, "I'm sorry, what?" I came on here to learn about making money. Why is someone talking about tapping on his face? So let's get this out of the way. Tapping, also known as EFT, just short for emotional freedom techniques. And it's a mind-body tool where we actually are tapping on our face and torso primarily. And it's based on acupuncture. So for thousands of years in Chinese medicine, they have said there's a flow of energy through the body along pathways called meridians. And when this energy is flowing naturally, we experience our natural state of health and well-being, physically as well as emotionally. When this energy gets stuck, we're out of balance, we don't feel so good. And when we don't feel good, we don't think as clearly, we don't make the best decisions. There are all kinds of unfortunate consequences for our lives. So in traditional acupuncture, the doctor would stick needles in these key points around the body to stimulate that healthy flow of energy. And we're just using our fingertips to tap those same points. And we have a growing body of scientific evidence validating this process. For anyone who says, wait a minute, what? Where's the science? Well, there's a lot of it. And including chemical studies showing that cortisol, which is one of the main stress hormones that gets activated when we're really stressed out, really good for putting us into fight or flight and helping us fight or flee dangerous, life-threatening situations. Not so good on a general basis when we just have that stuff stuck in our body. It dampens our immune system. It dampens our digestive system. It has a lot of unfortunate consequences. And unfortunately, most of us are in a constant state of stress, because even if we feel like we're okay, most of us have this thing that's constantly telling us what to be upset about. So we have these ambient levels of stress, and we're not even aware of how that has a negative impact on our lives. So this scientific evidence showing that cortisol levels dramatically reduced from tapping. We have fMRI studies where you can see the brain activity and what parts of the brain are lighting up from anxiety, and then how after tapping those parts of the body have normalized. So it is a lot of research backing it up. And then for a great many of us, we just know that it feels really good. It's like, I don't need research to show me that. I just know that when I tap, I feel better because it's calming down that stress response. And it helps me to make positive changes in my life. So today we're talking about money comfort. You know, we folks will say, how can tapping on your face help you have more money? Well, let me explain that. The extent to which we don't have what we say we want tends to be the extent to which we are resisting it. We say that we want to have more money, but most of us are resisting having more money. Not consciously, but unconsciously. We have a lot of beliefs. Who here has ever heard anything negative about money? Anybody? Anybody? If you don't have your hand raised, you're lying. uh, because we have heard all kinds of things like money is the root of all evil, rich people are greedy. It's just all these different thoughts about why we couldn't or shouldn't have more money. Now, our brain is designed to protect us. So if I have all this programming telling me that money is going to make me a bad person, or that only bad people would pursue it, if I want to be a good person, what do I need to do? I need to resist money. I need to stop myself from taking action on money. So I've done a number of videos on law of attraction. So there's two ways you can look at using tapping for greater financial abundance. If you look at it from the standpoint of law of attraction, and this is what Dr. Joe Vitale, who is in the movie The Secret, he and I created a program called Money Beyond Belief because we both had the same idea of, with law of attraction, it's like, okay, think about what you want and then feel really, really good about it, and you'll bring it into your life. But the problem is that most of us have all this negative programming about money. So we're trying to feel really, really good about money, but our unconscious, which is much more powerful than our conscious mind, is putting out all these vibes about, yeah, no, you can fantasize about the money. You just can't have it because that would be bad. That would make us a bad person. There would be all these negative consequences. And your friends would hate you, and your family would be jealous, or they'd be constantly hitting you up for a loan, and the IRS is going to take most of it anyway, and all of these things. And so the unconscious mind is saying, you fantasize about the money, but we're going to make sure it actually doesn't happen. So when we have that negative vibe, trying to use the law of attraction to bring in more money actually pushes it away. We are creating what feels most comfortable. And for most of us, that's a level of financial abundance which is below what is possible. So that's the law of attraction aspect of it. Now, for some people, it's like, law of attraction, that is so woo-woo. I don't believe any of that nonsense. And I just, what is it? Brass tacks. Great. Let's just look at this from psychology and behavior. In order to make money, there are things you have to do. You have to, if you're an entrepreneur, you need to make sure that people know about your product. You need to charge a decent amount. There are things you need to do in order to save your money, invest your money, all these things that you need to do, and the choices you need to make in order to allow more abundance into your life, allow yourself to experience greater financial abundance. Our choices come from our beliefs and our thoughts. So if, again, I have all of these thoughts about why it would be wrong or bad to have more money, from a psychological standpoint, I am going to make different choices. If I have an opportunity to meet with somebody who might fund a project, somebody who's got a lot of money and says, I want to invest in your product, and we're going to take off and it's going to make you lots of money. My 5 to 10% of my conscious mind is going, woohoo, lots of money. The other 90 to 95% is saying, that would be bad. We're going to make sure that that gets erased off of your calendar. And 2 weeks later, you're going to go, I was supposed to meet with somebody about, oh my goodness. And you call that person, they're like, you're obviously unreliable. And so we think that we've totally blown it, but our unconscious mind is going, yes, dodge that bullet. Man, think of all the terrible things that would have happened if we'd had that meeting and gotten all that money. So looking at it from a behavioral standpoint, our thoughts and feelings about money and why it would be bad for us affects our choices and our behavior. And this is where tapping comes in. When we can allow ourselves to tap through these beliefs and all the stress that we have about these beliefs, like money is the root of all evil, or, it's easier for a camel to go through the eye of the needle than for a rich man to enter heaven, or whatever the old programming that you might have is. And as we tap through, we allow ourselves to start to clear the uncomfortable energy that's around that. We can even allow ourselves to recognize the truth that, oh, wait a minute, the statement is not actually money is the root of all evil. That's a total mistranslation. It's the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. So it's a very different thing. It's about greed and the actions that we take. The line about it's easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven. There is a gate in the wall of Jerusalem that is so small that for a camel to enter it, it has to have all of its packs removed. And so that's what they're talking about, is that you have to remove the baggage in order to get through that. So the comment about a rich person entering kingdom of heaven is the idea that if you are too attached to your belongings, if you're too attached to the wealth, that's going to block you. It's not that you can't have it, you just have to take it off. You have to be willing to be detached from it. And so as we allow ourselves to let go of the need to hang on to all of those beliefs and see, wait, those are misunderstandings. But when we try to make changes, when we try to change our mind, this part of our brain reacts to the threat and says, ooh, change, danger. And we'll often avoid that. So we'll avoid those opportunities for making more money, for making better choices with our money, and all kinds of things around that. So that's what we want to do, is we want to be able to get more comfortable with having financial abundance. Anyone interested in that? Okay, cool. Let's do that. So just in case there's anybody who is not familiar with EFT, I'm going to give you a quick rundown. The basic version of EFT is we think about what's bothering us. So let's say I have a lot of stress about something, like I've got this report due in a week and I feel a lot of stress about that. And I rate that on a scale of 0 to 10. It's about an 8. I'm pretty worried about this. And how do I feel it in my body? It's a tension in my neck. So great. We know on a scale of 0 to 10 how strong that is and what's bothering us. So we would take the fingertips of our index and middle finger, and we would, real quick, we would tap gently on the side of our opposite hand. And the meridians run up and down both sides of the body. So you can tap with either hand on either side of the body. And so we'd say, okay, even though I feel this stress, I choose to love and accept myself. We'd repeat that 3 times because we just want to state a level of self-acceptance, even though we have this issue, because most of us, we're upset that we have a feeling. It's like, oh, I feel stress. I'm so stupid for feeling stress. I hate that I feel stress. And what we resist persists. So when we run away from those uncomfortable feelings, we can't do anything about it. So what we want to do is just create this opening to do some clearing around this. Even though I feel this stress, I choose to love and accept myself. Then we go through these points and we tap each point, between 5 and 10 times. It's not an exact science. Sometimes we'll be saying phrases that'll be longer. We may be tapping a point for 20 times, and that's okay. So we start by tapping the eyebrow right here at the beginning of your eyebrow. And we'd say, all this stress. Right here at the corner of your eye, all this stress. Right under the middle of your eye, all this stress. Right under your nose, all this stress. Right under your lower lip, all this stress. Right here where your collarbones just about come together, there's a little bit of a U shape at the base of your throat. And you can use all of your fingertips, or you can even take a fist and tap where the collarbones come together. All this stress. Right here, about 4 inches below your armpit. That's right about bra strap level, and I'm sure even the guys can figure out where that is. All this stress. And finally, the top of your head. So using all of your fingertips and tap in around the crown of your head. All the stress. And it says, are we going to tap? Of course we are. Just have to set it up. So that's the basic version of tapping. Then we would take a deep breath and we would check in and just see where, on a scale of 0 to 10. So after tapping, we might go, the stress might go from an 8 to a 0 like that. Sometimes happens. Generally, it's a little more gradual. We might go from an 8 to a 7.75. And we just say, okay, I'm getting a little bit of relief here. I'm getting a little bit more freedom. And often when we're tapping, it's like peeling the layers of the onion and we get more aware. So all this stress, and it's not even about this report. It's about this thing that happened 5 years ago that really messed up my life. And the pressure of this report is really bringing up all this pain that I haven't released. So now I have an opportunity to clear something that may have been around for years, maybe even decades. So it's a really profound process like that. So that's the basic version of EFT. Now we're going to have some fun with it. So what I want you to do is go ahead and close your eyes. Take a deep breath in and hold it. And let it go. Now just breathing comfortably with your eyes closed. And just like that grounding exercise Sandra took us through at the beginning of this, just allowing yourself to be right here, right now, as present as possible, so as to receive maximum benefit from this process. And I want you to imagine having the amount of money you think you'd like to have. And you can picture that however you want, whether that's, seeing, maybe you'd be driving a different car, maybe you'd be living in a different house, maybe you'd be living somewhere else. Maybe it's just looking at your online bank statement. Just imagine that you have the amount of money you think you want. And just follow your breath through your body and just notice on a scale of 0 to 10 how comfortable you feel having this much money. Say, it's safe for me to have this much money. And let that rattle around and notice on a scale of 0 to 10 how true it feels. And if you're saying it's a 10, but you don't already have that much money, I'm going to tell you to check again. Because part of you might be kidding yourself. Oh no, I'm totally okay with having that amount of money. I don't know why it's not showing up. I don't know why I'm not doing all the things that I could do to have that money. There's usually a safety issue, some resistance. Just allowing yourself to be aware of the thoughts, beliefs, and memories about why you couldn't or shouldn't have that amount of money. Joyce mentioned the family paradigm. It's like, oh, my family would think that I'm an awful person. I'm a greedy person. It would be a betrayal of my family to have that much money. And just allowing yourself to appreciate, it's like, appreciate the fact that you've limited your financial abundance in order to take care of yourself like that. And let's look at the possibility that your family's confused and it's not serving anybody. So just allowing yourself to be aware of those thoughts, beliefs, and memories about why you couldn't or shouldn't have this much money, why it wouldn't be safe. Notice on a scale of 0 to 10 how strong that feeling is that it's not safe. Take a deep breath, open your eyes, and if you're willing, tap along with me. And yeah, really thinking about that amount of money you believe you'd like to have. Even though it doesn't feel safe to have that much. I choose to love and accept myself. Even though it doesn't feel safe to have that much money. I choose to love and honor myself. Even though it doesn't feel safe to have that much money. I have all kinds of old programming about why having that much money would be wrong, would be threatening. And even though it feels wrong to have that much money, I choose to deeply and completely love, honor, and accept myself, and maybe anyone else who contributes to these fears, because I choose to be that free. All this fear of having that much money, all this fear of having that much money. And part of me says, I'm not afraid of having that kind of money. I am totally open to having that kind of money. And it's obvious to everyone, because on a daily basis, I'm doing everything I can to have that kind of money. I am taking the best financial actions. I am making the best financial choices. Somebody could observe my daily behavior and say, there's somebody who wants to have a lot of money. And maybe not. And it's not because I am bad or stupid. It is not because I am weak or lazy. It is not because I am incompetent. It is not because of any moral failing. It's just that I have a lot of old programming about why it would be wrong to have that much money. Because of all my old past programming, I've developed an idea of how much money is appropriate. It's the amount of money that I have. If I ever have less money, that feels inappropriate too. So I bring it back to normal. That's why they talk about a financial thermostat. We set the thermostat at a certain temperature. If it gets too hot, the air conditioning comes on. If it gets too cold, the heater comes on. So that we always bring it back to the normal. So while part of me says, I'd like to have more money, another part of me says, that would really mess with the thermostat. It would be wrong. It would be dangerous. So what am I afraid would happen? Will my friends be jealous? Will my family disown me? Will I be blocked from getting into heaven? Whatever that might mean to me. All this programming that tells me I would experience some kind of harm if I had that much money. And I brilliantly resist that kind of money. I don't have less money because I'm stupid. I have less money because I'm a genius. I have brilliantly avoided opportunities to make more money. I choose to use my powers for good. So I'm clearing this fear of having that much money. So what if my friends are jealous? So what if my family thinks I'm wrong? They're the ones who are confused. If we were all down at the beach and I was looking out over the ocean and my friends and family all had their back turned to the water, and they might say to me, "Oh, look at you, taking in the view of the ocean. You're such an awful, greedy, selfish person." Does that make any sense at all? And so many times in my life, often at an unconscious level, I've said, "Okay, you're right." And I've turned my back to the water as well. And there's this magnificent view of the ocean, and none of us are experiencing it. And how does that benefit anyone? I cannot be poor enough to make anyone else richer. I cannot deprive myself of enough abundance to ease anybody else's suffering. My experience of abundance benefits everyone. People might say to me, "There are people starving in Africa. What right do you have to be rich?" So what am I going to do? Send a letter to the people of Darfur saying, "I really sympathize with your situation. So I'm depriving myself of abundance too." And they might write back to me and say, "Yeah, knock that off. Allow abundance and send us some." I can have enough to enjoy my life and plenty to share as well, because the universe is that abundant. So all of this programming I got about money is based on misunderstandings. And I'm clearing that negative energy out. There's nothing wrong with me standing at the beach and enjoying the ocean. And I could be out there with everybody, with anybody else in the world. Jeff Bezos and Richard Branson. I'd get the same view they get. As far as the universe is concerned, I'm just as deserving as anyone else. So are my friends and family members. I'm telling them to turn their butts around and experience more abundance. And if they say, "But money is bad," I can say, "No, you're wrong." Money provides the ability to do a lot of good. I choose to do more good for myself and others. So as I think about that amount of money that I want, I choose to feel really good about that. I choose to feel really comfortable with it. I can handle it. It is safe for me to have this much money. My friends and family will learn how to handle it. And I can set boundaries. I may be afraid that if I have it, they'll want it. They'll say, oh, you're such a greedy person for having that money. But how about sharing the wealth? And I can do what feels comfortable. And I can set boundaries. They don't need me to show them the ocean. They can turn around and see it for themselves as well. I can handle having this much money. It's okay for me to have this much money. It is safe for me to have this much money. I'm getting more and more comfortable with money in body, mind, and spirit. Take a deep breath. Close your eyes. And just following your breath through your body, just allowing yourself to, again, imagine having that amount of money that you'd like to have. Again, picturing yourself being, doing, or having what you want, or looking at your online bank statement, whatever that is, so that you can have that sense of, okay, here I am having this much money, and say, it's safe for me to have this much money. All right, Sandra, 3 to a 7, excellent. Yeah, more than doubled. And especially when we get past that 5 point, because we're always just balancing the scales between taking action and not taking action. You know, we talk about the actions that we could take to get what we want, and sometimes we'll say, I don't have enough willpower. It's not true. We all have the same amount of willpower, but we also have won't power. Here's the reasons why I will do it. Here's the reasons why I won't do it. So if my willpower is balanced out by the won't power, that stops me. So we want to get that to at least past 5. When we get past that 5 point, then we start to allow things to happen. Excellent. Back pain reduced. That's, so many of the physical issues we experience are emotional in nature. So as we tap through it, we clear that stress. So let's see. Right here's love me more. So numbers coming up. It still doesn't feel safe. So again, like I was saying about the peeling the layers of the onion. So when we're tapping, we often get more clear. So, and sometimes the number, of distress goes up. So sometimes like, well, I'm at like a 6 in terms of my stress. And after I tap, now I feel like I'm at a 7. That's because if you imagine you have friends coming over to your house and you think, well, my house is pretty clean, but I want it to be really clean because, these people matter to me. So you are looking at your house and you're saying, okay, it's the dirtiness is maybe at a 3. And you start to move things around and you find, oh my goodness, there was a bunch of dirt under the rug and there's dirty laundry under the sofa. And now on a scale of 0 to 10, how dirty your house is, it's now like a 7 or 8. And you're like, what the heck? I was trying to clean my house and now it feels dirtier. My house is at a 3 in terms of dirtiness. I start to clean up and now it's at a 7. What's going on there? And so that's what can happen with tapping. So that's, so it's looking at, it's like, no, my house isn't dirtier. I'm just more aware now of the dirt that was there. And now I can clean that up. Now that I know that dirty laundry's there, I can go put that in the washer. Now that I know that dirt's under the rug, I can clean that out. So now when I look at my house, it really is as clean as I want it to be. So just being aware of when you see those, if you see those numbers coming up, going, okay, now I'm more aware of what that is, and it may be certain thoughts or ideas, and it may just be a feeling. It's like, okay, I don't know exactly why it feels less safe, but I get this tightness in my shoulder or whatever else it might be. So just allowing yourself to be aware of those kind of things that might be coming up. So go ahead and close your eyes. Take a deep breath. And I want you to think about uh, some actions that you could take, something you could do this week that seems likely to increase your financial abundance. Something you could do with your business, something you could do with managing your money. Last week, my wife and I were talking to our financial manager and just setting up new processes like, okay, how do we make it easier for us to transfer money into our stocks and our investment accounts? So it doesn't have to be this whole big drawn out process. We want to make it easy when on a regular basis, like, hey, we have a little surplus this week. We want to be able to move that into investment rather than just going and blowing it. So what is some action that you could take this week that would either help you manage your money better or increase your income? And if part of you is saying, I just don't know, just allow yourself to be aware of where there might be resistance, because you can go on the internet and search Google for how do I have more money, and you'll get a lot of answers. So maybe the action you could take is Googling how to have more money. So just allow yourself to be aware of some actions. With your eyes closed, think about taking that action. And just notice on a scale of 0 to 10 how uncomfortable it feels. Notice that part that says, yeah, no, I'll do that soon. Maybe next week, maybe next month, maybe in 5 years, I'm going to take that action, but not right now. Notice what thoughts, beliefs, or memories might come up as to why you couldn't or shouldn't take that action. Or just allow yourself to be aware of any physical sensations. Go ahead and open your eyes. Even though I feel this resistance, I choose to love and accept myself. Even though I feel this resistance to having more money, I choose to love and honor myself. Even though I have this resistance to having more money, I may even have so much resistance that I feel more stress after the first tapping round. Because part of me is saying, yeah, don't do this process. Because part of me is afraid it's going to work. And even though I have this resistance to having more money, I choose to deeply and completely love, honor, and accept myself, and maybe anyone else who might be involved, especially all of my family members who have so much money confusion. Good thing I'm here to help them get free, so we can all enjoy more abundance. All this resistance to having more money, all this resistance to having more money, all these fears about having more money. And because of that, I resist taking certain actions. All this resistance to taking certain actions that are likely to put me in a better financial situation. It might be about increasing my income. It might be about helping me save more. There are a lot of actions that I could take that would put me in a better financial situation. And I'm just not taking them. Not because I am bad or stupid. Not because I am weak or lazy. But because I still have some old beliefs about why I couldn't or shouldn't take these actions, about why I couldn't or shouldn't have more money. Maybe I've made bad choices with money in the past. And so part of me says, I cannot be trusted with more money. It's like every time I carry a tray of glasses, I get unsteady and I drop the glasses. And maybe that just happened once. And in order to protect myself, I make sure I never carry more than one glass. Having more money feels like having a tray full of fragile glasses. And even if I didn't drop them, I'm going to feel stressed all the time about it. All this fear that I cannot be trusted with that kind of abundance. I choose to clear this belief. I choose to clear it at a cellular level. I choose to clear it all the way back through my past. Back through all the times in my life where I somehow got the message that I was bad with money. Maybe even that I was stupid with money. And I can't be trusted with money. I choose to see the truth. I have all these beliefs about why it's wrong to have money. And I brilliantly found a way to have less. If I have all this old programming about how a tray full of glasses is the root of all evil, then dropping that tray of glasses is brilliant. I choose to love and appreciate my younger self for all the ways I tried to limit my financial abundance, believing that that was necessary. And I'm clearing up those misunderstandings. It is safe for me to have more money. It is okay for me to have more money. Maybe I have all this old programming about how you can only make money in bad ways. I choose to clear that nonsense. I have gifts and talents to share with this world. And those gifts have financial value. So I can get richer by being more generous in sharing my gifts. So it's a really good thing. In order to limit my financial abundance, I may be limiting how much I share my gifts. Now, how is that a good thing? How does that serve anybody? And I love and appreciate those parts of me that were confused about this. And that confusion has caused me to be stingy. And I'm clearing that out. Setting myself free to share my gifts. And it's okay to be rewarded financially for that. Because that puts me in a really good position to share even more. Maybe I've been convinced that if I'm a really good person, I'll share my gifts in a way that I don't benefit from. I have to make sure I get no financial remuneration. Only then does it count as a good thing. If the world had to work that way, we'd all be screwed. Much better if we spend our time doing what we're good at. We need to be paid for sharing our gifts and talents. Clearing all this resistance. All these reasons why I couldn't or shouldn't have more money. All these reasons why I couldn't or shouldn't take these actions that would lead to greater financial abundance. It's safe for me to have the money. It's safe for me to take these actions. So I'm setting myself free to do so. In body, mind, and spirit. Take a deep breath. And close your eyes and go inside. And think about those actions that you could take that would put you in a better financial situation. And just see if there is any resistance remaining. Or at least if you've gotten it down to below a 5 so you can start to take action. And if it's not there yet, just allow yourself to be aware of anything that might have become more clear during the tapping, any ideas or memories that might have come up. It's like, oh, I see why I'm stopping myself. And allow yourself to tap more specifically on those kinds of things. Take a deep breath. And let it go. And go ahead and share what's coming up. Yeah, Maurice, getting sick is a brilliant way to block ourselves. You know, oftentimes people use the expression secondary gain. So when we look at any kind of illness that we might be experiencing, physical or emotional, we might look at, is there a secondary gain here? Is there something I get out of this? And sometimes it's protecting me from something that doesn't feel safe. Oh, I would totally go and do that thing. I would knock it out of the ballpark if I didn't have this and I just can't go anywhere. And it's like, just allowing ourselves to see, okay. And we're not consciously doing it. It's not blaming ourselves for being sick. It's just looking at, And I'm not saying that's always the case, but it's looking at, is there a possibility that some part of me is trying to hold myself back? I like to say that self-sabotage is simply misguided self-love. When we do things that stop us, and we might say, oh, I'm sabotaging my success, I'm making this, I spent all this money on this thing that I shouldn't have, or I ate this food that I really shouldn't have, or whatever it might be. And then we beat ourselves up. It's like, okay, wait, let me be compassionate with myself and look at, why might I be doing that? How is this keeping me safe? And if I have all these reasons why I couldn't or shouldn't be healthier or wealthier, then I'm keeping myself safe by sabotaging that. Okay, great. The deserving thing. This is a big thing that comes up for a lot of folks. Uh, oh yeah, it might be safe for me, but I don't deserve it. Close your eyes, take a deep breath. And again, thinking about the amount of money you'd like to have. Imagine your life having this much money, however you want to envision that, and say, I deserve this. And let that rattle around inside. And just notice what part of you says, who are you kidding? Who do you think you are to say that you are worthy and deserving of that kind of money? And just notice how much discomfort comes up. So notice on a scale of 0 to 10, how strong the discomfort is, how strong the argument is against being deserving. Take a deep breath, open your eyes. Even though I have doubts about what I deserve, I choose to deeply and completely love and accept myself. Even though I have doubts about what I deserve, I choose to love and honor myself. Even though I have doubts about what I deserve, and I'm arguing for my limitations, and I look at the amount of money I have right now, and I say, maybe I deserve this much, but anything more would be wrong. And even though I doubt what I deserve, I choose to deeply and completely love, honor, and accept myself, and maybe anyone else who might be involved. All these doubts about what I deserve. All these doubts about what I deserve. And when I think about the amount of money I'd like to have, part of me says, who are you kidding? You're not worthy and deserving of that. That's too much for you. The only kind of people who get that much money are really deserving people. And while I'm tapping, I'm going to allow myself to ponder that as I think about people that I know about who have a lot of money. And I might feel that some of them are really deserving of that. I may also be aware of some people who behave in absolutely terrible ways and make their money in harmful ways? There are drug dealers who are making a lot of money. Do I really believe they deserve that money? And yet somehow the universe is allowing them to have that much money. As far as the universe is concerned, we are inherently worthy and deserving of abundance. If I go out to the beach, I watch a sunset over the ocean, do I doubt that I deserve that? If I look up at the stars at night, do I doubt that I deserve that view? Hopefully not. If so, I'm clearing that misunderstanding. I am worthy and deserving of the best this world has to offer. I am inherently deserving. When I was born, I was deserving of my care. My parents took care of me and fed me. Maybe not in an ideal way for some people, but they must have given me at least what I needed because I'm still here. What did I do to deserve that? All I did was eat, sleep, and poop. And that was enough to deserve care. I'm still doing those things. When was that no longer enough? And maybe I dismissed the stars in the sky and the sunset over the ocean. Yeah, I may be deserving of those. But we're talking about money here. What's more awesome than a sunset over the ocean? And even right now, every time I inhale, I'm asking the universe for oxygen. Do I ever say, okay, look, here's the deal, universe. I know I'm totally undeserving and unworthy of this oxygen, but please take mercy on me and give it to me anyway. I don't doubt that I'm deserving of it. And the universe doesn't doubt that I'm deserving of it, because it keeps saying yes every time I inhale. Take a moment. I want everyone to close your eyes. Take a big, deep breath in and hold it. And let it go. Open your eyes. Let's keep tapping here. I choose to acknowledge that I just asked for more. And darned if the universe didn't say yes. The universe didn't say to me, oh, now you're just asking for more than you deserve. And I only got the same amount that I had before. As far as the universe is concerned, I am deserving of the best this world has to offer. And I might say, then why doesn't it show up? Because I'm not asking. I'm taking little tiny shallow breaths waiting for the universe to fill my lungs to prove that I'm deserving. I've got to do my part. If I want to see the sunset over the ocean, I have to get my butt down to the beach. If I want to see the stars in the sky, I'm going to have to go outside. That's how I earn it. I have to take action to earn it, but I'm inherently deserving of it. And I'm clearing up that misunderstanding. There is nothing that is too good for me. And I love and appreciate those parts of me that have had these doubts about what I deserve. I probably have all kinds of old programming telling me that that makes me a moral person, that it's correctly humble to doubt what I deserve. But there's nothing unhumble about looking up at the stars. It's okay to accept abundance. And I'm worthy and deserving of the best this world has to offer. Even if I've done terrible things. The only reason I did those things was because I was unclear about who I am. I was doubting that I was a magnificent child of the universe. The more clear I get about who I really am, the better my behavior, the more loving I am towards others. My past doesn't prove what I deserve. It just shows me who I thought I was. And I am clearing up that confusion. I am acknowledging that I'm a magnificent child of the universe, worthy and deserving of the best this world has to offer, in body, mind, and spirit. And take a deep breath. Close your eyes, check inside. Think again about that amount of money you'd like to have and say, I deserve this. And just notice what's coming up around that. Hopefully it feels more open, more free. Thoughts, comments, questions? Excellent, Ella. I was just about to ask you. Perfect. And, it's keeping at it because we have the resistance that we might have towards money. We've been getting that programming for years. So we want to do this on a regular basis. I recommend tapping on a daily basis. To me, it's energy hygiene. We have physical hygiene like brushing our teeth, taking a shower. We don't, wait a couple of weeks and then when people are holding their nose around us say, oh, that's right, I haven't taken a shower in a while. I should probably do that. But stress builds up, and the beliefs that we have about abundance are there, and we might be picking them up, if we're around family members saying stuff about why that is. So we're being bombarded by that. So we want to be cleaning that stuff on a daily basis. And you can bring those numbers down to, where it's like, yeah, no, of course I'm worthy and deserving of, I'm worthy and deserving of the best this world has to offer. I may not be earning it yet because I'm not taking all the actions, but I don't take those actions because it either doesn't feel safe or I have doubts about deserving it. But as I allow myself to know, yeah, I'm deserving of the best and it's safe for me to have that, no, it's much easier to take those actions. And we start to see opportunities that we hadn't seen before. There are so many opportunities for improving our financial situation that we block because somehow it felt wrong. So the spiritual to charge has dropped 2 points. Great. Yeah, all that stuff about it's not spiritual to charge money. You know, why do we, there's so many people out there doing good work, being paid well for it. Why do we say that if we're doing some kind of spiritual work, some kind of self-improvement work, why is that wrong? Most of us don't argue with doctors making a good living. So it's like, well, why is it okay for a doctor to make a good living? But if you're a coach or whatever, whatever work you're in, if you make a positive impact for people, why isn't that worthy and deserving of financial rewards? And whatever answers come up, tap on them, clear them out. My friend Denise Duffield Thomas says, I deserve because I serve. Now, I would actually say that we can feel more deserving because we're inherently deserving, because you can sit out there on the beach and get the same view of the sunset over the ocean if no matter what you're doing or not doing. As far as the universe is concerned, you you're inherently deserving just by virtue of being here. That oxygen that keeps coming to you, you don't have to do anything. The person who is sitting there in their house, watching TV all day, is still getting oxygen. They're not enjoying life to the extent that they could. They're missing out because the greatest joy in life, as far from my perspective, is sharing our gifts and talents. It's knowing that we're being useful, knowing that we're being of service. It's not just to in order to be deserving, it's because it feels so good. That's awesome, Marilyn. Yes. I deserve and I serve because both feel awesome. So cool. Any other thoughts, comments, questions? Any other way that I can be of service right now in this last few minutes?
Jill, do you have anything that you want to ask or bring up? You're okay? Okay. Anybody have any questions?
And if you're just all blissed out, that's fine too. I know I'm always on a high when I do this. It's like, and that's why I'm grateful for this opportunity. So thank you, Sandra, because as it might be obvious, I kind of like what I do. So, whether I made money or not, it's like, that's what they say, what would you love to do even if you didn't make any money at it? Now do that, but find ways to make money. That's really the ideal.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for being here. We are truly blessed to have you here in our presence. And vice versa, I will imagine that the energy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, how awesome is this to get to hang out with folks who are looking to, not just make your own lives better, but in the process of doing so, you make the world a better place. So I am very appreciative to everyone who's here and saying, yes, I want to make things better, because as you make it better for you, you make it better for others too. Absolute win-win situation.
Yeah. Thank you.
Sorry, I actually do have a question, if that's okay.
Yay! Yes, go for it.
So you know, in all the tapping rounds, there was a lot of different pieces, you know, that came up. So do you have any suggestions for, like, it kind of feels overwhelming to try to tackle it all at one time. So do you have any suggestions for how to, like, break it down and kind of consistently start to tap through kind of the various parts?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, I encourage you to make it a daily practice. So you can, I mean, you could simply say, all right, each day, I'm going to think about the amount of money that I want to have, or anything. It doesn't have to be about money, because any tapping we do is going to benefit it. We can be tapping on health, and it improves our financial situation. Just like I forget who it was, we were tapping on money, and the back pain was going away. So everything benefits everything. So, but if you want to do it around money, I mean, obviously, I have quite a few videos on YouTube about money. I have a couple of programs. I have a program I just launched in June called Tap Into Money that does do a systematic thing of breaking it down. But and just allowing yourself to say, okay, here's what I'm feeling right now, and it may be beliefs about, oh, this idea that money is the root of all evil, or it may be just my parents always fought about money, or they always said that rich people were bad. So allow yourself to be aware of whatever is coming up for you in terms of what makes me feel uncomfortable about money. Or just, again, notice if there's a physical sensation. When I think about making more money, I get this pain in my stomach. And just tap on that. So just having a practice of, on each day, I'm going to do some tapping around something that feels uncomfortable about money, or just about improving my life in general. Does that help?
Yeah, it does. Sometimes it feels like I'm chasing my tail a little bit, if that makes sense. Like,
Yeah.
you just kind of keep going around in circles and more comes up. And so I'm just, do you have any suggestions for that? Like,
Yeah, and I know that does come up. It's like, okay, I tap and I find more things to tap on, and it's like, okay, so the alternative is then that I'm not going to tap. It's like when I go to clean my house, I find more dirty laundry under the sofa. So you're then going to just stop cleaning your house. It's like, I'm going to keep finding stuff until one day I go, today I'm going to go clean my house again, and hey, there's no more dirty laundry under my sofa. And each day it's less and less. And sometimes it doesn't feel like that. If there's an analogy I like to use of, imagine you've got a field that you want to cultivate for farming, but there's all these giant rocks. And you go out one day and you focus on one rock, and it takes all day long to break that rock down into pieces that are small enough to move. And you get that rock moved out, and it's exhausting. You go to bed and you just sleep like, crazy, because you're so tired. And you get up in the morning, you look, and there's still rocks in the field. And it's like, what was even the point? It's like, well, you have more field now to cultivate. And if you keep this up, eventually you're going to have all of the field. And even if you don't clear it all, they say the only person who has no problems is 6 feet under. There may always be something to tap on. I've been tapping for 20 years. I still come up with things to tap on, but my life is so much more awesome than it was 20 years ago. So it's like, okay, even if I never, clear everything that comes up, I'm going to be so much better off than I was. Make sense?
yes, it does. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And Christine had a question.
Yes. Hello, Brad. What I would like to ask is that I bought your Tapping to Money program, and my experience is that, like, for instance, being worthy, like I tapped many times on it, and the number goes down to, let's say, 2, and then a few weeks goes by, and I go back to tapping on worthy, and it's again, like now we were tapping on sharing our gifts and talents, and I was crying the whole time, and it really surprised me because I've been working my butt off on this topic, and I don't know.
Yeah, and the thing is, there are different aspects that come up. So let's say we let's keep using the same analogy of the sofa. We're looking under the sofa, and it's like, and I see this old dirty T-shirt, and I clean it out. It's like, oh, this T-shirt. I go put it in the laundry. It's like, good. I feel good about that. Cleaned out that T-shirt. The next day, I go and I look under my sofa, and there's dirty socks, and I'm like, there's still dirty clothes under my sofa, but it's not the same dirty clothes.
Mm.
So we're clearing out, and so sometimes we get a great sense of relief. And it's like, okay, my feeling of unworthiness was at a 10 and now it's down to a 2, and I may go back and look at it again, and it comes up, and there's a sense of some things that feel unworthy, but it may be a totally different thing. It's like, well, I may be looking at some memory, and so I'll tie in the question about shame. I may have some event that I feel shameful about, and I might clear the shame around that. And the next day, I might feel shame, but if I take some time to look at it, it's like, but it's about a totally different event.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And as we keep at it, eventually, we may not have to go through every event, but it's just like we sort of get a generalized effect of, shame isn't serving me. It's not serving anybody else. Nobody benefits from me feeling shame. It's okay to let it go. And the only reason we hang on to it is because part of us feels it's necessary. What is the fear? It's asking yourself, what am I afraid would happen if I felt no shame? What am I afraid would happen if I felt worthy? So there's some part of you, it's like you tap down the feeling of unworthiness down to a 2, and it's like, that feels really good, and I have more freedom. And part of you starts to go, oh crap, Christina's going to make things happen. There's going to be change in life. Well, you better find something to feel unworthy about. So it's not that, because ultimately you know that you're worthy. And here's the thing, all of you know that, because if you didn't, you wouldn't be here tapping with me today. You would have found someplace else to be. But something inside of you said, I know that I'm worthy and deserving of better. I need to get clear about that. And sometimes we forget, and sometimes old programming comes up and says, that kind of freedom doesn't feel safe. If I really feel worthy, if I really feel good about myself, I could get myself into all kinds of trouble. I better find something to feel ashamed of or something like that. And as we keep up with it, we just get more and more clear.
And could it also be, Brad, that like now so many amazing things are happening in my life, things I always dreamed of, they are becoming a reality, and maybe because of that, all these coming up, because I'm growing bigger and bigger, I would say my life is getting better and better. So could it be because of that also?
Yeah, it can be scary.
Oh, this is
because
too much,
It's too much. Absolutely. It's too much. We don't know. This is unfamiliar. We crave what's familiar. Even if our lives are crap, it's our crap. We know where it goes. We've got the furniture that it fits in. To have things be different feels unfamiliar. And part of our brain says what's unfamiliar is unsafe. So it's like, wow, I'm meeting these great people. I'm making more money. I'm having these opportunities. And part of me is saying, oh my goodness, I'm not used to this. Oh, that unworthiness thing used to stop me. Let's bring that back in here.
Okay.
It's, again, self-sabotage is simply misguided self-love. So that feeling, telling yourself you're not worthy, telling yourself that, bringing up shame is a form of self-sabotage. So that, how do I think this is protecting me? Why do I think I need this? Tap, 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 tap. I'm okay without that. I don't need this anymore. And even if it comes up again, it's not that I didn't clear anything. It's not that the tapping isn't working. It's that there's something that's still underneath there. There's still some more dirty laundry under there. And I love and appreciate that part of me that's trying to protect me, and that and was not and didn't feel ready to clear it all out at one time.
Thank you
I've been doing money tapping for 20 years, and it's like I keep going to new levels, and I'm making an amount of money that's like, oh, I can't believe I used to make it. Like, So there's always new levels for us to expand to, and it's not a matter of going, oh, I should feel I'm so stupid that I didn't go from making $15,000 a year to being a multimillionaire in after two rounds of tapping. And I've got a video called "Tapping for $1 Million," and people go, "Did anyone watch this and become an instant millionaire? If not, it doesn't work." It's like missing the point. I'm not saying it's not possible, because sometimes the tapping is so profound, somebody could literally watch that video and tap and win the lottery the next day and become a multimillionaire because they've cleared their blocks to that abundance. I'm just not making any promises. There's nothing in there that says, I guarantee that after 15 minutes of tapping, you're going to become a multimillionaire. And it's just going, and I love and forgive myself, even if I stop myself from being completely free yet. Make sense?
Yes, thank you so much. And then just only one word, thank you so much, because with your tapping, I manifested my love. So that I could already achieve with your work. So,
You cleared your fear of allowing that to show up.
yes.
Because
Yes,
again, like I said at
yes.
the very beginning, the first thing I said is the extent to which you do not have what you say you want tends to be the extent to which you're resisting it. So thank you, Christine, for clearing that resistance, because that's a win-win for two of you.
Yes,
and
exactly.
countless others. So thank you guys so much for being willing to clear the resistance, because seriously, the good that you allow into your world benefits others, even if they don't understand it yet. So you looking at the ocean and taking in that view will benefit them in some way, shape, or form. So thank you for doing that. And thank you again, Sandra, for what you're doing and for this opportunity to share this.
Thank you so much, Brad. We're back in about 20 minutes with Nick True. Brad, thank you again for being here. Really been a pleasure to have you here.
My absolute pleasure.
Everybody.
You take care, everybody.